Welcome to OAA Now, your home for Oakland Activities Association news and information. Here's your host, Sammy Taramina.
Welcome to OAA Now. I'm Sammy Taramina, blogger of the Dragon's Den, blog of Inside the OAA, and one of the hosts of Between Terminus on Orange Neighborhood Television. I'd like to welcome our friends watching on Oxford Community Television and also those watching on YouTube. Today is the special district preview show, districts releasing preview here. Of course, the MHA released their districts on June the 15th, and we have now where all the OAA teams are going and also where they are at. So we will have complete inside information regarding the districts, and also we'll have our special district coverage of volleyball, girls basketball, and boys basketball live at Lake Orion coming up. So, but the districts are released here according to the MHA website, and these are official. So here are your confirming of the districts here. We're gonna start off with Class B. Of course, this district here is very interesting because you look at where each team is at. Of course, we're going to start with district number 43, which is in Class B, and this district has capability and potential to be a very, very interesting but also very unique district. So here is your district 43. Here's your district 43 teams who are in there. The first team, of course, is the Ferndale Eagles. Next is Hazel Park. Next is Ferndale University. Detroit Mumford. Detroit University Prep. Detroit Henry Ford Academy of the Studies. Not the actual Detroit Henry Ford itself, but it's Detroit Henry Ford Academy of Studies. And then Detroit Frontier International for boys basketball. Now, the girls' sports will be held at Detroit Mumford. Girls basketball and girls volleyball will be held at Detroit Mumford, and boys basketball will be held at Hazel Park. So when you look at this district, of course, this district is very unique, especially let's go with volleyball first and see how this works out. Because when I look at the favorite and who's next in the dark horse, a lot of people are going to ask me, why is Detroit Mumford one of those teams that has to be recognized? And I said, well, Detroit Mumford, they're a wild card here. They're a dark horse. And the reason why they're a dark horse is they host the district. But when you look at the two top teams who I think could be very, very dangerous is Ferndale and Hazel Park. Ferndale is a team that's had a lot of experience, but the question with them has been their consistency. Ferndale's a team that, if for Coach Larry Gibson, if he can create that balance of experience and talent, and then I think Ferndale's got a great shot at going places. Now, Ferndale's had some difficulties the last few years, but I think they have what it takes to be a favorite, to be capable of doing very well in this district. But there's one team I really like in this one, and it's Hazel Park, because when you look at the Vikings, now a lot of people have asked me why Hazel Park hasn't gotten a lot of attention. And, sometimes it's hard to get information on the Vikings. But you got to look at what Coach Lisa McClellan has done with that team in her third season. Going to be her third season, but in her last 2 years, she's managed to create Hazel Park from a team that really has been in the doldrums of the Blue Division, and getting them somewhere, getting to play consistent volleyball. They've gotten some recent help with the addition of transfer and Emmy Redmond, who of course came over from Wall Lake Western and really has turned the Vikings program around. And let's not forget, last season Hazel Park had only 2 seniors on that team, and now they return a bunch of talent on that team. They have Renee Travis back. Also, Emily Blajowski. Of course, she was an All-Stater a year ago. No, she was an All-County a year ago. And also, Trinity Benton. Now, Trinity Benton is a name that you're going to get used to, especially because she also plays girls basketball as well. So, when you look at Hazel Park, for them to win their first district championship since 2014, they have a great opportunity here at Detroit Mumford to do some damage. Now, it's going to depend on how the district draw works out, because Detroit Mumford's the wild card in all this, because they're the home team. They have experience. They're very athletic, and they're very good at home. The Mustangs are going to be a team that is going to be a force to contend with in the volleyball ranks of this district. So I said my key player, as I mentioned, is going to be Emmy Redmond in Hazel Park, because she carries a lot of weight for Hazel Park. She's the setter. She's one of the she can outside hit. She's one of McClellan's best athletes, and she's going to have to be relied upon if Hazel Park can get their first district championship since 2014. And Ferndale's a team that really, I would say right now, would be the favorite, but Detroit Mumford's the wild card. I really don't expect much from Detroit Henry Ford Academy of Studies, Detroit University Prep, nor Ferndale University. I know Ferndale University's had some struggles. So has Detroit Henry Ford Academy of Studies and Detroit University Prep. They're not as good as I think in girls volleyball. And then let's look at girls basketball. Of course, this is the next one here. Of course, this also will be held at Detroit Mumford this upcoming March of 2017. I mentioned here, when you look at this one, Detroit Mumford last season was very talented. And they had a very good player in Deanna Fletcher. Fletcher was very key. She took Detroit Mumford to the regional final, where they end up losing in that one to Detroit Country Day. That was at Marysville. And now she's gone now. And now they do have a player back in Tierra Ernest. Ernest is the one that I expect to be back and have to carry the Mustangs this season. And when you look at there, I think there are two teams that can be of real seriousness here to the likes of Detroit Mumford, the host school. And that could be Ferndale and Hazel Park. Now, Ferndale, everybody's going to ask me, why Ferndale? Well, you got to look at Ferndale, who they got back. They have a lot of people back from that team that really struggled in the gold a year ago. And also Coach George Gleason. He's had to go through 2 rough seasons. And I think this could be a breakthrough for Coach Gleason and his team if they can take that next step, which is win a district game, which is get to a district championship game, but they also have 5 juniors and 5 sophomores, which is very important. When you have that type of experience back, you can not only contend in this district, but also win the gold. And of course, another team who I think could do wonders is Hazel Park. Of course, Jessica Weisler's team. They have Trinity Benton, very talented player, Gianna Green, and then you have Jessica, and then of course you have Liz Sterner. These are the 3 players that have to be very much involved if Hazel Park wants to win a district championship. I don't expect Detroit University Prep or Henry Ford Academy of Studies or Ferndale University to contend in this. I've looked at their scores from a year ago, and they were not good. They really were not good. And it was a nightmare from a year ago. Well, let's look at now boys basketball. Of course, we got here, it's at Hazel Park. I really think this could be the year for the Vikings to win this district, because the Vikings, they have Carbo, they have Cameron Boltman, Sierra Lee Brooks, and Dan Hearns, and Devin Patu is all back for the Vikings. They're going to play in a very tough division, in the white division, which will get them better and get them ready for March, which is going to be key for them if they want to contend in this division. The question's going to be is you got some good teams in this division. Ferndale University is one of them. I expect Ferndale University to be a team that really much has a strong say in who wins this district. And then, but you also have Ferndale, of course, coached by legendary coach Tom Stanton. They lost their two best scorers from a year ago from a team that upset Oxford last year in the regular season. But they have a strong interior presence, and it's Tom Stanton. You know, it's also Tom Stanton. Now, Detroit Mumford will be a contender in this district. There's no doubt. They've had a good basketball team. But you also, Detroit University Prep. I got some questions with their depths. But, you know, when you look at Ferndale, when you look at Detroit University Prep, I saw them play against Rochester. They didn't look good. They really did not look good against Rochester, who I thought last season kind of had some questions. But when I look at the boys basketball district, it's at Hazel Park. You've got to give an edge to Hazel Park. Only concern I have about the Vikings is they got to look for an interior big. And this was a team last year that gave up 90 points to Detroit Central Collegiate. Now, Detroit Central Collegiate is not in this district anymore. But this is a perfect opportunity for the Vikings to go in here, win this district, make a statement, and then make a long playoff run in Class B. They have what it takes to make a run in Class B. They do. So, my final thoughts on that district is, you know, keep an eye on Hazel Park and boys basketball. It wouldn't surprise me if Ferndale, Hazel Park do some damage in this district. It really wouldn't surprise me. But it's going to be a tough chore for the girls' sports as they have to go down to Detroit and Detroit Mumford. And that's not an easy place to win at either. So, let's go over to Class A now. Of course, we have District 21. Of course, that all three games will be played at Farmington. The teams in this district are Farmington Hills Harrison, North Farmington, West Bloomfield, and Farmington Hills Mercy in girls sports, and Orchard Lake St. Mary's in boys basketball. Of course, all three of these games are at Farmington. So when you look at this district here, let's go volleyball first. Farmington Hills Mercy, of course, they won the volleyball district a year ago, but they were knocked out in the regional round. I think the Marlins do return some very good players. Of course, they do have Elizabeth Stucco and Lauren Hunter back. But when you look at, and also I think coaching is very important in this district. And Loretta Vogel won a state championship quality coach is in this district. But when you look at the teams who could surprise people, North Farmington, though, won the blue last year, up in the white for Coach Kat Hill. Of course, this is her second season taking over for Jessica Konsecki, who no longer is there. But they've got some experience returning back this season. They've got some experience. Harrison's another team I think you got to keep an eye on. They got Stephanie Jankovic back for coach, and they have a good coach in Michael Love. Of course, Harrison did knock off West Bloomfield last season. West Bloomfield won the division a year ago, first division title since 1995. And now both teams are in the red division, which is going to be very difficult when you have to go up against the likes of Clarkston, Orion, Oxford, and Seaholm, and Stony Creek. So it's going to be a tough chore when you're in this division. But the Lakers have a lot of experience back for Coach Dana Gray, who has six seniors back. That's experience for you. If they get that experience, then I think they're going to be a team that could surprise some people in this district. They could be a team that could go to the district final. West Bloomfield is another one I think it could surprise some people because in this district. But Farmington's another one because they got two girls back, in Danielle Petrus and Courtney Samosky. Those are two I think that could surprise some folks. I think Farmington could surprise some folks. So this is an interesting district. But like I said, the district, though, goes through Farmington Hills Mercy. And I think Mercy will be the favorite in girls volleyball. But you got to keep an eye on North Farmington and Harrison. I think they're going to be the two teams that keep an eye on. But also West Bloomfield. this is not an easy district, to say the least. So, but I just think too much talent that Farmington's Mercy has, which is going to be the one that's going to carry them going forward for the Marlins. Let's go to girls basketball now, same district. Gary Morris, coach of the Marlins, has a lot back. When you look at Jenna Schuller, Jackie Byer, Chloe Godboll, Katie Cole, Lauren Boggs, and Claire Murray all back. That's not counting Isabel Miner, who came back from an ACL injury last season. Mercy's got a lot back. There's no doubt that the Marlins will be... Mercy's coming in as the favorite in the girls basketball district. They will be. And then you got North Farmington, who I think could be a serious threat to Farmington Hills Mercy. It wouldn't surprise me if they beat them. They got Samantha Murthy back. They got Samantha Cherney back. Samantha Randall. But the big one's Kira Crockett. If they can find some guard help, of course, to go along with Randall. But you have a player, and I like Patty Chachokian coming from the junior varsity to play up at varsity for Coach Jeff Simpson. It's going to be very interesting with what the Raiders have, and not to mention they're in the red division, which is going to be also a help and a bonus. And of course, you have West Bloomfield, who I think could be another surprise, because they got Corey Maxey back, they got Jamal and Jordan Elam back, but the question for them is they lose 3 key players of their team in Macy Krizakova, Taylor Pierce, and Charlika Stubbs. Those are tough losses. I think that's going to be key for Coach Jack Hilvers and his team. Harrison's another one, because they lost Kristen Nelson and Amber Steffens. This is a team that really has to address some big needs. And also the coaching situation. We don't know if Stephon Wilson's coaching them. Could it be Darlene Taylor? We don't know. Darlene Taylor was the JV coach at Harrison a season ago. I think she's ready to take over the team. She's got plenty of experience. But there's a huge question with Stephon Wilson, what role he has coaching the girls program. Harrison's got some good players. And Teddy Pickens, Nyla Warren, and Olivia Perkins. I just think the losses of Nelson and Steffens is going to be tough for them to overcome. Farmington will struggle this year. I know it'll be a tough year for Mary Shelcha on her team. So when I look at this district, it'll either be Farmington Hills Mercy or North Farmington that will win this district. Let's go to boys basketball before we take a break. We got the favorite here, I think, is Orchard Lake St. Mary's, because they got some size. They got KJ Hammer. And, of course, they added Orion transfer Caden Prescorn, along with his brother Brady Prescorn, who I think the Eaglets could be a very interesting team to keep an eye on going forward. And then you have North Farmington, who lost. Of course, they were a state final team a year ago. They lost 12 of 13 players, but the player that's back is Amari Hardy. Very talented player. And also not forget they had that famous Negocian trap defense. And the gym's at Farmington, which is going to be very susceptible to traps and presses. And then you have West Bloomfield with Kevin McAdoo. You got CJ Mosley, and also Garabon Wynn. This is a team I think that could really surprise some people as West Bloomfield. They're my dark horse team here. I think they're going to be a team that's going to contend in this district. I said West Bloomfield. West Bloomfield is my next best team. North Farmington is my dark horse team. Harrison's got a lot back. They have Russell Campbell, Jordan Hibbett, Alex Kirsten, Audit Dema for Coach Stephon Wilson. And, of course, Farmington, though, could struggle. They're led by Jack Kirby, but they are favored to win the Gold Division. But when I look at this district, I think 3 teams can win this district. West Bloomfield, because they're well coached, they're athletic. I like this team a lot. North Farmington, young, but Amari Hardy's there. And also Orchard Lake St. Mary's, of course. This was a team that lost to North Farmington last year in an epic district final game. And also West Bloomfield and Orchard Lake St. Mary's had a great double overtime game a year ago. So this could be a good district to look at. So it'd be really interesting over at Orchard Lake St. Mary's. See what happens there. Okay, now when we come back, we're going to talk about more districts, of course, District 23, District 24, and District 25 here on OAA Now. Welcome back to OAA Now. I'm Sammy Termina here. Of course, let's go first to District 23, covering our district preview show here for girls basketball, boys basketball, and also girls volleyball. Of course, girls volleyball takes place in the fall, and boys basketball and girls basketball take place in the winter months. So let's go with. We already announced District 43 and District 21. Let's keep rolling with the districts here. We got District 23 first. The teams that are in this district are the following: Royal Oak, Troy Athens, Warren Cousino, Warren Mott, Warren Regina, Warren De La Salle for boys basketball, Warren Regina for girls sports, and Sterling Heights. The girls basketball district will take place at Warren Cousino. Girls basketball and volleyball will be there. And boys basketball will be at Troy Athens. So here are my thoughts and insights. I'm still surprised that the MHA decided to keep Troy Athens and Troy separated. Brought Royal Oak in there, kind of like a mind-boggling thing. Sterling Heights is in there as well. So, but when I look at this here, there's a lot of storylines heading in. There's a lot of storylines. Let's go with volleyball first. I don't think this is a good volleyball district. I really don't. Because when you look at the champion last year who won the district was Troy Athens. And they weren't the greatest team, but they did return some key players for Coach Christine Stanchuk. They have Alexa Van Hoff and Nicole Borkovich back, which is going to be important. Warren Regina, they moved up from Class B in volleyball. Of course, their girls basketball team was in the district a year ago. But their volleyball team was still in Class B. So they moved up this year. And they could be a team that could surprise some folks. And then you look at Warren Cousino, of course, who I've they cite the bad fashion statement, but they have a good team. They had a young team last year. But the fashion statement, yikes. But they have a good team. They have a very good team back. And I think that Warren Cousino could surprise some people. They are the district host. And also they are a team to be a force to reckon with in the district heading in going forward. Warren Mott will have some experience back. They improved a year ago. But we don't know where one of these teams are at. And that's Royal Oak. Because they had an up and down season a year ago. They have some experience back, but you've got to look at what's going on with their volleyball team. Are they going to be up or are they going to be down? That's the $1 million question surrounding the Ravens in volleyball. So my favorite in the volleyball district would be Troy Athens. My next favorite would be Warren Cousino. And then my dark horse is Warren Regina. Now, Sterling Heights is an interesting team because they weren't bad a year ago, but I just think they're going to go through an interesting transition. I think they lost a lot of talent, but Sterling Heights could be a team that could very well surprise some folks. So, we'll see what happens. I think Troy Athens is favored to win that district, but Warren Cousino is not that far behind. And then you have Warren Regina. So, and I said the key player in that district would be Alexa Van Hoff, and I think that's going to be the same with her going forward with her. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens in that district in volleyball. On the girls basketball. Of course, it's also at Warren Cousino. Defending state champions are in this district. Warren Cousino last year won the state championship. And they knocked off Detroit Martin Luther King. They have some key players returning back. And Kate MacArthur and Kira Fletcher. Kira Fletcher, wouldn't surprise me, is one of the favorites to be an all-state in girls basketball. She was huge in those games last season. But there are some weaknesses in her game, though. She's not a good shooter. Not a great shooter. But Kate MacArthur really is the one that has to... If MacArthur is shooting well, then everybody don't have to focus a lot on Fletcher, you know what I mean? Then you have to worry about Fletcher and also MacArthur. If MacArthur is shut down, she has that sophomore slump, then everybody can focus on Fletcher, and that's a huge problem. So I said Fletcher, I said Kate MacArthur's the key in this district. Now, there's a team out there that can stop Cousino. A lot of people ask me, is it Sterling Heights? No, it's not Sterling Heights. It's Royal Oak. Because of what Brian Zapata loves to do, and he's a defensive first guru. Royal Oak returns some great players. They got Claire Kozinski back, June Donnellan, Micaiah Williams, and then the big one, Samantha Potter. This is a team I think that could really, really take down Warren Cousino. They could. But when you look at this district, Warren Cousino does host, but they could be the team that could seriously take out Warren Cousino. But Warren Cousino, very, very good team. It wouldn't surprise me if they repeat. It really wouldn't. But Royal Oak, I think they should be a serious threat to Warren Cousino. Now, another team, I think, a team that could keep an eye on is Warren Regina. Of course, this was a team that upset Birmingham Marion twice last year in the regular season. Lost in the semifinals of the Catholic League to the Mustangs. But they're a team to keep an eye on. But when you look at my dark horse is Sterling Heights. Sterling Heights does return a good player back. They have Taylor Hartwick back from a team that I thought took a step back a season ago. But, they were in a lower division. So Sterling Heights is an interesting one here to keep an eye on. They're a wild card. But I think, and then of course you have Troy Athens. They're led by Mandy Crum and Alexa Van Hoffer, Coach Stacey Klump. Warren Mott, they won their first district game in 15 years a year ago by knocking out Troy Athens. But they have Mariah Taylor coming back. So I think the Marauders will be all right as well. So when I look at this district, Warren Cousino is the favorite because they won the district a year ago, won the state. They have the two best players in this district in MacArthur and Fletcher. And they have a good enough team around. They were a very young team a year ago. They got a lot of experience back. So Warren Cousino, it wouldn't surprise me if the Patriots make another deep run in the state playoffs. It really wouldn't. But Royal Oak, I think, is the team I think that I would worry if I'm a Patriot right now because of their defense, their team chemistry. But the question is going to be is, can Royal Oak have enough energy to get up that hump and challenge the Patriots on their home gym? Now Royal Oak did have some huge wins last year. They went to Lake Orion, upset the Dragons on the road. So this is going to be a team that Royal Oak could definitely be the team that does it in this district. But Warren Regina, though, I still got some same trouble with their issues. Opposite shorts, opposite jersey, you know what I mean? Very interesting combination with their home look. But Warren Regina, I think, and Sterling Heights are two teams to keep an eye on as well. But Royal Oak, serious threat to Warren Cousino in girls basketball. Boys basketball. Troy Athens suffered a huge loss with Taylor Mascal transferring to Detroit Edison from Troy Athens. That causes a psychological effect. And my favorite coming out of this one's Warren De La Salle. It's pretty obvious. Team returns a lot of talent from a team that was upset by Sterling Heights teams in the regional. And they have Josh Valancourt back, who was an all-defensive center from Macomb County a year ago. The Pilots could be one of the top teams that could seriously contend with Detroit University, Detroit Jesuit in the Catholic League. And, they could do some damage. Warren Mott went to the district final a year ago. They're another team that can make a splash. I think at the end of the day, when you look at Warren Mott, they could make a run. Troy Athens could make a run. They got some experience back, but Sterling Heights could also make a run. But I think the loss of Masco will be too much for him. Royal Oak lost a ton of experience a year ago for Coach Aaron Smith, but his teams can be scrappy as well. So we'll see what happens. with that district, but I got to give an edge to Warren De La Salle. Warren Mott's my next best team. Troy At's my dark horse. But I think Josh Valancourt, if he plays well, Warren De La Salle's going to go place. And I saw Warren De La Salle play at Oakland University. They looked really good. So it could be a tough chore for whomever who can knock off Warren De La Salle. Let's go to District 24. Of course, that is at all the matches are at Detroit Renaissance. Here are the teams that are in this one: Southfield, Oak Park, Berkeley, Detroit Renaissance, Detroit University, Detroit Jesuit in boys basketball, Hamtramck in girls sports, and Warren Fitzgerald. Warren Fitzgerald, you know what I mean? Welcome to Class A. Won't be easy. But Hamtramck's an interesting story because Hamtramck's girls sports are in this district, but their boys basketball team is down at Grosse Point South with Detroit Cass Tech, Detroit East English Prep, Detroit Western, and Detroit Martin Luther King. Ouch. And you have Grosse Point South in there. Ouch. That's rough. But let's look at this district here from a volleyball perspective here. The favorite I would have to say is Warren Fitzgerald because they got Carolyn Lee back, who's only a sophomore, and I think they're going to be a very serious team to keep an eye on. But Berkeley's a team that I really, really like for Coach Chantel Corson. She's got a lot of experience back. Dana McDowell, I think, is going to have a huge senior season, along with Madison Kendrick, Paige Allen, Grace McCauley, Madison Coster, Kara Hall, and Natalie Tovich. I think those girls are going to have a huge season. Detroit Renaissance, though, my dark horse, they lost a ton of talent a year ago, but they're expecting to contend in the Detroit Public School League for Coach Lewis Mitchell. Oak Park could very well struggle here in this district. Southfield, though, the question I have is who's coaching that team. Is it going to be Southfield's former coach or is it going to be Lathrop's former coach? They'll have some experience, but the question's going to be who's coaching them. So when I look at this district and I look at Hamtramck and volleyball and girls basketball, yikes. I feel bad for the Cosmos. When I look at this district, I think Warren Fitzgerald's favored. Berkeley's the next team up. And then you have Detroit Renaissance. But it wouldn't surprise me if Berkeley or Detroit Renaissance wins this district this upcoming fall. It really wouldn't surprise me. And then, of course, we got district number... of course, let's go to girls basketball. Of course, the question of Deja Church, it all comes in us. I think if it is, Southfield's favored. If she's back with the Warriors, Southfield is favored. If not, Detroit Renaissance has an edge because I think Victoria Wright and you got Nina Reynolds. Of course, Detroit Renaissance lost C.F. Frazier, who's now at Penn State. And you have Victoria Wright, who's a very talented player, very good player on the AAU team known as the Michigan Storm. Very good player. Nina Reynolds, very good player as well for Coach Keon Ward. Of course, they went to the Detroit Public School League final last season where they ended up losing to Detroit Martin Luther King. Very good team that the Phoenix have. Southfield could seriously challenge them. And I think they will challenge them. Because not only does Southfield have, if Church is back, you have Alexa Johnson, Delana Holman, Rosaria Franklin as well. And a girl to keep an eye on, her name is Cheyenne McEvans. Watch out for her. Good player. I like Cheyenne McEvans, her game, but she's going to be a good player to watch for the Warriors. Berkeley is interesting for Coach Jordan Gruppin's team. They have two very good players in Olivia DeCaro and McCoy Denham. But I don't know if they'll be ready to compete into this level of play of the either the Warriors or the Phoenix. And of course you got Warren Fitzgerald, who I think they're gonna have some trouble making the move up. They have some experience back. And Kayla Wells and Tona Oglesby both were honorable on Class B teams on Macomb County year ago. And I think Oak Park's going to have some trouble in this district because Oak Park's going to have some trouble in this district because I don't trust the Knights going up against some top-tier teams. They had some trouble against those type of teams. They didn't have much trouble against the bottom teams as much as they had some trouble against the top teams. And I think they're going to have some trouble in this one. And Hamtramck, when I look at their team, yikes. We're not that good a year ago. And I expect them to struggle in this district as well. And then you got boys. Let's go to boys basketball. Of course, you got, is anybody going to touch University of Detroit Jesuit? I don't think so. Because you got Ike Ake and Greg Egabudin, the two 7-foot Nigerians, are back. They do have to replace Cassius Winston. I think younger brother named Zach Winston is going to fit real nicely with the Cubs. Real nicely. I think he's going to fill his brother's shoes, and I think he's going to create some damage. Then you have Detroit Renaissance, who lost Justin Turner, but I saw him play at Oakland. They got some athleticism. They're big. They're not bad. And then of course you have Oak Park. Of course they have Robert Sanders, Dwan Mathis, and Bobby Thompson. If they're all eligible, which I expect they will be, then Bobby Thompson Sr. is going to have something. And then you have Warren Fitzgerald, who could be in some trouble, some serious trouble. But they do have Carl Petaway back. Berkeley, with Joe Sermo, and Ernest Payne back. I mean, Joe Sermo, it's going to take some time for him to build his program there at Berkeley. Of course, to cite the different ideologies that they have with the former administration. But I like what Joe Sermo's doing over there. Building that program back up. They'll contend in the gold for sure. I don't know about the district. Southfield, I think, is the next team that can give University of Detroit Jesuit some problems. They could give them some problems. They do have some key players back in. They have some key players in Michael Flowers, who played at Southfield, had 50 points in one game. James Faulkner, who was huge as well. And Remy Torbert, who came over from Lathrop. Lathrop's best player. And you have Flowers in there. Southfield could be a team that could surprise some folks. But end of the day, in that nice, beautiful gym on 65 Outer Drive in Detroit, this district will be the Cubs to lose. It wouldn't surprise me if University of Detroit Jesuit, who are the defending state champions, make another serious run at winning the state title. Okay, my final thoughts on that district. It'll be very interesting to see what happens here in that district. Okay, now when we come back, we're going to talk about District 25, District 30, and District 31 here on OAA Now. Welcome back to OAA Now. I'm Sammy Tarina here, covering our final three districts here for our district special for girls volleyball, boys basketball, and also girls basketball. So that's girls volleyball, girls basketball, and boys basketball. So we can also keep an update on the information here on the blog at Inside the OAA, what's going on with the district. So let's go to District 25. Of course, in this one here, this is a very unique district when you look at the teams in here. It's pretty much the same as last year, but here are the teams in this district. It is Groves, Seaholm, Bloomfield Hills, Avondale, Troy, Birmingham Marion in girls sports, Birmingham Brother Rice in boys basketball. You know, Birmingham Marion and Birmingham Brother Rice are next door to each other. So, very interesting district there. Of course, volleyball will be held at Birmingham Marion. Girls basketball is at Troy. Boys basketball will be at Bloomfield Hills. When I look at this district, you know, it's pretty much, I still think it's still odd that Troy and Troy Athens are split up. Pontiac and Auburn Hills Avondale are split up. So very interesting dynamic there when you look at that district. So let's go to volleyball first. Of course, last season, nobody saw Bloomfield Hills come out of that district, and they went and stunned Birmingham Seaholm and Birmingham Marion a year ago. Now, Birmingham Marion was very young last season. They got a lot of talent back for Coach Angela Kalzenki. They have Lauren Wenzel, Kate Schaffern, Emma Storley, Maggie DePore, and Caroline Audette is all back for that Mustang team. And they could do some damage because Birmingham Marion's gym, very small when you look at how it is. And especially because they haven't lit up scoreboard. But the gym is so small. It's not funny. But when you look at that Mustang team, it wouldn't surprise me if them and Mercy go back at it for the Catholic League crown and both do some damage. Really wouldn't. But I think that when you look at this district, though, this could be a district for Birmingham Marion to make some serious, serious noise. And they could very well do some serious, serious noise. CM lost a lot of talent a year ago. Of course, this was a team that was upset by Bloomfield Hills in the district final. But I was shocked last year that this team was upset by the Blackhawks. I was shocked. And now Heather Lippard's got a huge rebuilding job in front of her. But she does have Amelia Sakalis back, which will help things. But they lost a lot of talent. This was a senior-heavy team. I thought this would be a team that would make a serious state run to Battle Creek a year ago. They had everything made. All they had to do was knock off Bloomfield Hills. And they were in the state final. And they could have made a serious run to the state quarters. Unbelievable. Now, CM's going to have to do a lot of rebuilding. They got Sakalis back. But they got some questions. Who's everybody else? Troy's got the best player in this district for Coach Vince Muscat. Jessica Robinson. Very good player. Very good, talented player. But they got some questions, like I said, surrounding them. Who's the supporting cast? Who will be Vince Muscat's supporting cast this year for the Colts? Who is it? They lost a ton last year. Avondale's got some experience back, but they lost Alyssa Smith. But they got Brooke Blanchy back, Kira Robinson, and Fran Elio. But they could very well struggle in this district. Groves, though, let's remember 2 years ago, Groves was in a district with Southfield, Oak Park, and Berkeley. They're not anymore. They're in a district that's very difficult. Very difficult. And I think they're going to have some trouble. They're going to have some serious trouble. But when I look at this district, Birmingham Marion is favored. And there's a reason why they're favored. They're home. They got experience. It could be a nightmare. I think Birmingham Marion's going to be back. Get some revenge. It wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't. Let's go to girls basketball. Of course, who I think the favorite is, obviously, Birmingham Marion. Because they have a girl named Olivia Moore, who I said was a dark horse last year. And she was an impact player a season ago. Now they're gonna have to address some size. They need size over there for Coach Mary Cicerone. Because I think there's a team named Bloomfield Hills that could seriously threaten them. When you look at Bloomfield Hills a year ago, this team was not healthy. Amanda Sape got concussed a year ago against Orion. I remember that. I was there for that. Tough situation, scary situation. But this could be Jeff Rubin's best chance to at least go far in the playoffs. I thought personally last year it would have been his best chance. But his team wasn't healthy. They do return some key players. When you look at Desiree Duncan back, Miriam Hashim, Captain Prina, Becca Hancock, and Victory Franklin are all back along with Amanda Sape. That's going to be an interesting matchup between Birmingham Marion and Bloomfield Hills. That would be a very interesting game. Then you have Simon Bottle's team at Troy. They return Megan Linehan. Megan Linehan, a good player. Very good player. But as I said, the team surrounding him, big question. Avondale has Toya Gold and Brooke Blanchy back. But I don't know if they're going to be a team that would seriously contend. Groves has a lot back. When you have a girl named Shay Carter, Lexi Carter, Shay Carter, Lexi Carter, Jane Jung, and Morgan Morrison. They're all back for Coach Amos Thompson. and I think they're gonna be some huge impact players there. And I think it's going to be a good situation for Groves. I think Groves will contend this year in that gold division. They're the favorite in that division, with Troy Athens moving up to the blue. And then, of course, you have a team named Seaholm. Mackenzie Harbour. I don't know how she's all state all year. Has she played somebody? Really? Really? Thank heavens her senior year, they got some teams they're going to play. Clarkston, Stony Creek are going to be two of those games. Seaholm better be tested before then, because the last two games, I don't think they've been tested. I just don't think they've been really tested. They're going to be tested this year. They're not conference. I mean, for Coach Jeremy Herleski, this is going to be an interesting team, because they got Carolyn Owens back, Wendy Wilkinson back, and Dana Holm. A lot of experience. I think Birmingham Marion's favored, and they have a reason to be favored. But Boonby Hills is right there. Groves is another one to keep an eye on. Seaholm's another one to keep an eye on. It's got a good district. Good district. Boys basketball, this is going to be an even district. It's at Bloomfield Hills. And I could see Groves possibly being a favorite because of who they got back in Drew Shecknell, Marcus Pittman. Troy. They got a very good player as well in Jason Diaz and Isaiah Smith, who I think Smith's key for the Colts if they want to win the district. But Bloomfield Hills, I think, is going to be very, very talented. They got Kewan Graham, Ray Dilworth, and Josh Jones. And they were a team that went to the district final last year. Very interesting. Avondale, solid team as well. They got Dominic Kibushu, Vaisha Munson, Ty Bland, and Martoon Cole. And let's also not forget they're coached by Tim Morton. Troy's coached by Gary Freilich. Seaholm, interesting team to keep an eye on. I like Graham Girdler a lot, and they got an experienced team back. And you got Birmingham Brother Rice, so team that has they got some experience back as well on Jack Morin, Michael Lawrenceville, and Cal Lipridge. All these 6 teams have a great shot at winning the title. They have a great shot at winning it. We'll see what happens. Let's go to District 30. Of course, this one here, of course, volleyball will be at Stony Creek, and both girls and boys basketball will be at Utica. Same teams in this district as they were last year. Rochester, Stony Creek, Adams, Utica, Eisenhower are all in this district. When you look at volleyball, let's go to them first. Stony Creek's got a new coach in Ross Talbot who took over for Mandy Moran. Stony Creek's got Erica Ward back. I think Stony Creek, they host the district. I would have to consider them the favorite because of who they got back. But they're going to be a very young team, though. This is a team I think is going to be a very unique team to keep an eye on, is Stony Creek. And this is a team that could do some damage. And Adams, though, has got a lot of experience back. They got Pace Schubacher, Madison Chichinski back. They had a rough year last year in the red. They're now down in the white. But Adams could seriously threaten in this district because of their experience. As well as Utica Eisenhower. Utica Eisenhower returns Peyton Keneally and Marissa Duran from their district championship team. It was stunning how they beat Stony Creek at home. It was very much stunning how they won that district at home last year. Utica has Jessica Lodge and Danielle Ketchuk back. And then Rochester's got Maddie Halsey. Looks to be an even district. But I think at the end of the day, I think that Stony Creek will come out of that district because of Ross Talbot. New coach, looking to get back in the thick of it. And I think he's going to get back in the thick of it. And he's now back in the saddle at Stony Creek. Lauren, I think when you look at this district here, I think there's a lot of teams that could contend here. It wouldn't surprise me if all 5 of these teams have a great shot at winning this district. So that's interesting there from the Bible perspective. Girls basketball. Eat, sleep, conquer, repeat. That should be Kellen James' mindset. Congratulations with Kellen James on having a young baby boy. Congratulations to Kellen James. But his team should be he should have a very good team. when you have Emily Sillick, who scored the winning goal in the girls' soccer final, Allie Voss, Gina Kearney, and Emily Elcott. That's a good, solid team. And then, of course, you have Gabrielle Sincole, who I think is very underrated. Then you have Utica with a senior heavy team last year, but they lost a lot, including Stephanie Von Viswich. Utica Eisenhower lost 3 top seniors, but they had Madeline Kosick back. She was 4th team on Macomb County. Rochester, beaten up by the injury bug. They return, they got some good players coming back. They got Paloma Barraza Duran, Jenna Norgrove, and Tori Hawkins all back. And then you have Adams, where you have Maggie Rogers, Hannah Samard, and Ryan Owusu. The reason why I think Stony Creek's favored is because they got a lot of experience. Very talented team. Very good team. I think they're going to do a lot of damage. Adams, next best team. Because they got Rogers. And then, I'd say my dark horse team, I said, was Rochester. And I think they will be because I like Tori Hawkins. Paloma Barraza Duran's looking to make an impact back. And Jenna Norgrove. The question is going to be is how many of those freshmen are going to get called up from a lot of girls that played freshmen at Rochester last year up to varsity. A lot of questions there for Coach Adam Sheldon. But at the end of the day, I think that Stony Creek will win that district. And then let's go to boys basketball. And then of course I think Utica Eisenhower is favored because they got a lot back. Rochester's an interesting one because they got Hunter Schlachner, Michael Gilridge, and Ivan Barraza Duran back for Coach John Pleasant. Stony Creek, very hardworking team, scrappy team, 3-point shooting team. And then Adams. Went to the regional final last year, lost John Hall, of course, he's now at Almont. Brad Crichton, of course, new coach at Stony Creek. And, of course, he had a 3-point shooting threat. And anytime you lose Spencer Lewis and David Rinke and Joey Zenny, it's going to be a problem. But at the end of the day, I think this is a great district. It's an even Steven district, but I think Utica Eisenhower, with their senior experience, will be favored. I think they're favored. It's at Utica, close gym to them. I think, and then of course, got Rochester, got a lot of experience back, and of course, you also got Stony Creek, who is a team, and of course, you have Stony Creek was my dark horse team. Adams will be up there as well. So I think there's 4 teams that have a great shot at winning that district. Let's go to the last district, and that's District 31. Of course, that district is all 3 districts will be at Lake Orion. You got Orion, Clarkston, Oxford, Pontiac, Waterford Kettering, and Waterford Mott. When I look at this district, let's go to volleyball first. Of course, when I look at this one, is there a team that could touch Clarkston? Of course, last year Orion won the district, but they lost a lot of talent from that team. But Clarkston's got Abby Malinowski back, and they also have a lot of experience. And Kayla Lucan back and Molly Nicholson back for the Wolves. I think when you look at Clarkston, they got some size back. A lot of size is back for the Wolves. And then, of course, let's look at Oxford here. Oxford, senior-heavy team this year. I like Nicole Elzerman a lot, what she's going to bring for Coach LaToya Thomas. And I think that Nicole Elzerman's going to have a heck of a season her senior year. You watch out for her. She's going to be a great player to keep an eye on. Orion, though, in my opinion, has got the dark horse tag on them because they got some talent back with Leah Kaluger, Lindsay Whiteman, Ren McCauley, Mallory Berman, and Danielle Sargent. But this is not the same team. And I've been hearing a lot of concerns surrounding the Dragon volleyball program for Coach Tony Scavarda. And it's going to be a concern. And that's something that the Dragons must address. Waterford Mott, though, they could struggle this season. I think they will struggle this season. Waterford Kettering does return Lilia Schoof. Of course, she's more known for the basketball perspective. For Coach Kimberly Jason. Pontiac, this was a team that I think they're gonna struggle in this district, and it's unfortunate. But when I look at this volleyball district, it's either gonna be Clarkston, Orion, or Oxford that takes this district. Clarkston being the favorite, followed by Oxford, then Orion. So we'll see what happens there. but any of these three teams can win that district. Girls basketball, you got Waterford, Kettering, Orion, Clarkston, Oxford, who's got great chances at this district. Oxford returns, and also Waterford Mott, so 5 teams of the 6 can win this district. Waterford Mott returns some very key players in Waterford Mott returns Myra Williams, Emily Spencer, and Emily Huff. But they lost Monica Renicky and Liam Hung. Both of them were great players. So Waterford Mott's got some things they got to address. Clarkson, they got Kayla Lukenbach, Molly Nicholson, and Maddie Beck. Those are the 3 keys there for the Wolves, for Coach Christine Rogers. Oxford, on the first-year coach Rachel Breyer. Of course, they return a very good team back. They have Grace Cleveland, Monet Evans, Madeline Morris, Ashley Hirschman, and Jordan Zinger. And not forget their 8th grade class, though, going to be freshmen this year. Very solid class as well. So Oxford will be up there as well. And, of course, Breyer was a former coach under Steve Emmert over there. And then let's look at Orion. Maddie Novak, Sophie Wyborski, Delaney Bryce, and Tessa News are all back for Coach Steve Roberts. They must address the internal issues surrounding this program. They have to, if Orion has any chance at this district. And then you got Waterford Kettering. Returns Marnie Holland, Maddie Case, Alyssa Watts, Lilia Schoof, Jayla Williams, and Marissa Brady. Interesting, isn't it? Waterford Kettering's a favorite in this district, but keep an eye on Orion, Clarkston, Oxford, and Waterford Mott. So those are going to be the teams to keep an eye on. And then last but not least is boys basketball. When you look at the favorite here, I don't think anybody's going to touch Clarkston because they got Foster Lawyer, Dylan Arlison, CJ Robinson. But I think the key player is Mac Nicholson. And I think he's going to be key for Coach Dan Fife. But there's a lot of storylines. Orion, possibly Keith Fields going up against his former team from Orion. Waterford Mott's got an experienced team, led of course by Noah First, along with Fields for Coach Jeff Jason. Waterford Kettering's rebuilding. Pontiac, we don't know the situation there under Jalen Kelso. And also Orion, of course, Oxford, of course, the team that has Jordan Jane and Justin Ballas back. And also Orion with Steven Zimieski and Jamie Lewis returning. So, and of course, Pontiac, we don't know the situation what's going on, but we know the Ben Kelso situation going on there, and also what is going on with the Waterford Kettering's rebuilding. And I also forgot to mention, I'll go back to girls basketball a little bit in the districts. Pontiac does return some key players in Zakira Brown, Savannah Pitts, Tia Washington, and Diamond Curl. But Pontiac could struggle again in this district. And I said the key player in this district will be Tessa Neuse for Orion, because Neuse is going to be the one that's going to be relied upon in scoring for the Dragons and could spell some relief for Maddie Novak, you know what I mean, if it happens. Remember last season in the district, Maddie Novak got hurt in the game against Waterford Mott. And I think it was a huge factor in that game a season ago. So those are my thoughts on girls basketball. Boys basketball, I don't think anybody's touching Clarkston. I think Clarkston could make a long playoff run, but they're going to have to likely clash in Macomb, Dakota in the regional. But we'll see what happens. My final thoughts here. It's going to be an interesting district to keep an eye on. And, of course, we'll see what happens going forward. So these are the districts for volleyball, girls basketball, and boys basketball going forward. And also, keep an eye on Inside the OAA blog for latest updates surrounding the districts and also possibly the regional. So we'll see what happens going in. But these are the official districts released from the MHA that was released on June the 15th. And we wish everybody the best of luck here. Have an happy 4th of July, everybody. Good night. God bless all. And see you all next week. Take care.